And not only can investors get into the ESG trend by investing in individual stocks, but also ETFs are becoming increasingly popular, and ESG related inflows. I think it's been a record-setting year for that, and we do have a lot of ESG ETFs that are based on MSCI ESG indexes.
Yes, absolutely. So from an index perspective, MSCI is a leading equity index provider with over $15 trillion of assets that are tracking MSCI indexes. And within that segment, there are ESG indexes, and we calculate up over 1,000 ESG indexes. And so this is a wide diversity of indexes because investors have very different demands and objectives when it comes to integrating ESG. The kind of landscape, maybe if I can give you some of the landscape around ESG indexes and then the ETFs that are tracking them. On one end of the spectrum, you have the more thematic indexes that are trying to get exposure to very specific themes. So the Global Environment Index, for example, would be maximizing exposure to clean tech companies. You're going to get a lot of sector concentration in that type of a theme. Gender diversity is another very popular theme. So the Empowering Women's Index in Japan, for example, is something that the government pension plan there has allocated several $billions to tracking. It's selecting companies that have demonstrated a greater ability to retain and attract women, which is an important policy objective in Japan. Now, at the other end of the spectrum, where I think a lot of the ETFs are starting to track, are the indexes that are designed to meet the objectives of investors that still want to be fully diversified. So they actually do still want the same exposures to the different sectors and the different geographies as a market cap benchmark. However, they want to be able to dial up the ESG exposures of those indexes. And so what we do is look at take a market cap-based index, and what we do is we weight the companies that have higher ESG ratings or that have higher ESG profiles. So the MSCI ESG Focus or the MSCI ESG Universal Indexes are doing that for investors that want to track them.
Okay.
And then in terms of the ETFs, there are now 165 ETFs that are tracking one of the MSCI ESG indexes, about $21 billion of assets now. And we really see the trend for ETFs really focusing on the end of the market where it is actually looking at the full sector exposures and really just trying to weight the companies that are constituents of these indexes that are higher in terms of ESG profile.